Hello, you guys. So I am teaching to you from my living room. I hope you all are doing well and you are staying clean and you are helping your family around the house. I know this is a difficult time. Some of you are very worried, but I think it's good to look at this as an opportunity to spend some quality time with your housemates. And focus on your projects and what makes you thrive. So I have a little project for you guys to work on throughout the week. It's nothing too crazy. I think it's good for you to keep exercising your creativity. I think it will make you feel a lot happier about what's going on. So even though it's not for a grade, I do suggest you all do something to nurture your creative side, because we're creative creatures and it's important that we make time for that. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out how to work this video. Okay, so I don't really know how to show you slides at the same time that I am recording myself. So just open the slides up on Google Classroom. So it should say Art Foundations, and it's for the week of March 23rd through March 27th. What you guys will be working on is a book on balance. So we have symmetrical, asymmetrical, and radial balance. So when you are looking at balance, it's you're arranging both the positive and negative elements in a way that not one of the areas, the positive or negative areas, overpowers the other area. So it should feel visually balanced. Think of it like a scale. Both sides of the scale are the same. So when you go down to the slide that talks about visual weight, it kind of shows you an example of how you can have the same imagery on both sides of your divided line. Don't mind my dog. She just growls at everything. So if you look at the image with the hearts, it shows that there's one giant red heart and it has a heavy color, and then there is a bunch of little hearts, and then they are lighter in color, and there's more of them, and some are small, some are big, but the overall image still feels very balanced because of the visual weight. So it's a perceived weight that you see through your eye. You can't actually measure it, but it measures how much anything on the page attracts the eye of the viewer. So a well-balanced composition will make you not feel like you're staring at one thing. It will move your eye through the view or through the composition. So you have symmetrical balance, and it kind of shows you an example of that there. And that's a simple one. Symmetrical balance is when it's equal on both sides or exactly the same on both sides. So think of like a mirrored image. And this evokes a feeling of formality, elegance. A lot of invitations use symmetrical balance. So this one's pretty easy to understand. The first painting that's up there, this is an altarpiece done by John Van Eyck. And then you guys have seen this painting of Jesus with all of his disciples, The Last Supper, by Michelangelo, I'm pretty sure. And then the downside of symmetrical balance is that it's boring. So because it's exactly the same on both sides, it's predictable, you don't have a lot of visual interest, so it can be kind of boring. So then you have asymmetrical balance, which is kind of hard to understand, but bear with me. So you have an unequal visual weight on each side of the composition, and one side of the composition might contain a dominant element, which could be balanced by a couple or more lesser focal points on the other side. So that image that we looked at with the hearts, that would be asymmetrical balance, because you have a equal visual weight of balance, because the lighter hearts and the smaller hearts, there's so many of them, and it balances out the bold and the bright red heart. So asymmetrical balance is more dynamic, it's interesting, it evokes feelings of modernism, movement, energy, and vitality. So make sure you guys are looking at the examples before you begin your project. So this is right before we get into that. Make sure you're also looking at the artwork examples. The one that's underneath the asymmetrical balance slide, that is Mondrian. And then the one below that is Hokusai, which we looked at his Great Wave. So you have the tree that's a little bit heavier on the right side with the people on the right side. And then you have the distant mountain with the opaque kind of shadow people crossing the bridge. And then there's in the distance some trees underneath the bridge. And that creates a more equal balance with what's going on the right side of the image. You also are drawn into the people on the hill, and it kind of draws you around to the house, to the tree, and over the bridge. So it carries your eye through the composition. The one below that is Seurat, and he did this using pointillism or a lot of dots. So you can kind of feel how things are heavier at one side, but it still feels balanced and it still moves your eye through the piece. Okay, and then we have, so the downside of asymmetrical balance, it can be more difficult to achieve because the relationships are a bit more complex. So that one's a little bit trickier, but I think if you just look at the image and how it makes you feel, honestly, if it feels unbalanced to you, then it's probably because you need to add like literally like one little dot or something small on one side to kind of give it that visual feel, that visual balance. And the last one is super easy. It's radial balance. So you can think of having something in the center and it radiating out of it, kind of like a sun. So the main focal point is the center of this piece. In radial balance, everything radiates from a common center and everything leads to that center, making a strong point of attraction. So like sunlight or ripples in a pond after a stone is tossed are examples of radial balance. Also a mandala. So mandalas are radial balanced, and there's some artworks. Unfortunately, I don't know who these are by, but you get the idea. So your task is to create 3 artworks that showcase each type of balance. You are going to be using mixed media, which you guys have used already. So you can choose any of the 2 that are listed on the last slide. I have a list on the right side of the PowerPoint. So you have symmetrical balance, asymmetrical balance, and radial balance. I don't care what size that these artworks are. I don't care if they're sculptural. But whatever you can find to make these artworks is fine by me, as long as you're showcasing 3 types of balance. And then when you're done, take a photo of your 3 artworks and upload them onto Google Classroom. I will have a tab under classwork for you to upload it as a file, or you can take pictures and upload it onto a Google document and save it there. And then I'll look at them. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys reach me at my office hours. You can email me. I also know that you got the Remind for how to access Remind, and you can like message me on Remind if you need to. But only during my office hours, which I'm pretty sure I said were going to be 10 to 11, but let me make sure. Hold on one second. Yep, just kidding. 11 to 12 are my office hours. So Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, you can message me anytime, 11 to 12. I'll be right next to my computer, and I'll make sure to get back to you right away. In the meantime, I hope you guys are staying safe. Eat your fruits and veggies, and be nice to your family. I missed all of you, and maybe we'll see each other soon. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Bye.